Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Madeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Rudeva Deva. Hari Om. The teacher has given the final instructions to the student that you have to go and sit in a remote place where you are not disturbed and contemplate on the teaching itself, because the listening itself is sufficient. Because of the raga dvesha, still the mind is going around. So in order to avoid the mind going around, you try to avoid initially all the sense objects. Therefore, sitting in a remote place or in a place where conducive for meditation, so that the mind doesn't run away to objects that it sees, and therefore it is recommended initially that to find a place which is calm and quiet, free from disturbance, and select a time where the disturbance is minimum, and close your eyes so that you do not perceive, or the mind along with the sense of sight doesn't run around, and contemplate on the teaching. And that's what has to be done, in where you have to recognize the presence of that Sat in every object, sit in the mind, and Ananda when the mind is calm and quiet. So you enjoy the quietness of the mind where there is a reflected happiness, and also recognize that I am Ananda Swarupa itself, because my nature itself is Ananda. So you get both happiness. One is your own nature, and also you get reflected happiness also. So that's why Scripture points out that a Jivan Mukta enjoys not only his own happiness as Swarupa Anandam, but also he enjoys the happiness simultaneously, as though enjoying all the sense objects in a way, because the mind is completely calm and quiet, continuously calm and quiet. Therefore, reflection happiness also comes into picture, and reflection happiness normally comes when the sense objects are fulfilled or desire is fulfilled. But without even desire also one can enjoy the happiness, since that's what Upanishad itself says, Sotriyasya akamayatasya. So in every level of Ananda, that it talks about Manushya Ananda, Gandharva Ananda, Deva Ananda, and so on and so forth, up to Prajapati. Each Ananda is 100 times more, but at every statement Scripture says Sotriyasya akamayatasya. Same happiness can be obtained by the one who has studied the Scriptures for a prolonged length of time under a competent teacher. He is a Sotriyaha, and the one who has understood, and therefore he has no more desires, and therefore akamayatasya. So he doesn't have any desire for objects outside, because he has recognized and learned that happiness is coming from his own self. He doesn't need to go out for sense enjoyment. To that Mahatma, he also enjoys the same happiness, that the equivalent happiness that the one who is going after sense object. And Scripture says in the sense object case, he enjoys one sense object at a time. He cannot simultaneously enjoy all the sense objects, so he enjoys one at a time, whereas the Jivan Mukta simultaneously as though enjoys, because his mind is always peaceful. Now the student has gone out and has done Nididhyasana and recognized that I am the totality, and with a sense of gratitude he comes to the teacher back, and he expresses his gratitude and reverence to the teacher. And these are the examples of how the outlook of a student towards a teacher who has given the highest knowledge that cannot be obtained otherwise. So he is called the greatest gift to the disciple is the knowledge itself. and therefore we'll see the few slokas of this student's exposition in terms of the expression of his joy and gratitude in the slokas that are in the Viveka Chudamani. So we take the 484 sloka. Vacha vaktum asakyameva manasa mantum navasakyate swananda mruta pura purita swananda mata pura purita parabrahmambuder vaibhavam ambhorasi visirna varshika silabhavam bhajan manaha yasyam salave vilina madhunananda atmana nirvrutam. So vacha bhaktum asakyam eva. So he says, I cannot express in words vacha, so vaktum, to say avasyameva. It's impossible for me to express the joy that I am enjoying. So the very expression itself dilutes the whole process. And when you are happy, he says, why are you happy? How happy you are? You can't tell the words, even the words will fail, and that's essentially what his statement is. That's how he is expressing itself. So vacha vaktum asakyameva. How about the mind? Manasa mantum navasakyate. The mind itself cannot express also. So asakyate, it's impossible for the mind to express that or to feel that. So neither watch nor the mind can go there or express that, because of which the speech and the mind are able to function, and that because of which I am that. I cannot express that by any word or by any feelings also. This is Swananda Amruta Pura Purita Parabrahmambuder Vaibhavam. This Swananda, my own happiness, Amruta Pura, Amrutam, that which is indestructible, that means endless, Pura, continuously flowing, Purita, almost full, Parabrahmambuder Vaibhavam, Parabrahma Ambudi, the ocean of supreme happiness. So continuous flow of the ananda of my own happiness, as though like a river flowing into the ocean, and the ocean is full with all that. Parabrahmambuder Vaibhavam, it becomes a vibhuti. So how does the Jivan Mukta looks at the world? He does see the world. He sees Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All sense organs will be functioning, because as long as the body is there, the mind is there, sense organs are there. So therefore all the plurality will be perceived, but he sees that as his own vibhuti or Ishvara vibhuti. So enjoys the vibhuti of the Lord, irrespective of the whole universe itself, becomes a Vaibhavam. That's why Krishna talks about in the 10th chapter Vibhuti Yoga, and in the end, Arjuna, I cannot describe my infinite Vibhuti because there is no way to express, and that becomes a Vaibhavam of the total creation itself. So even the number of galaxies we cannot find, and each galaxies there are millions of stars, and each star can have billions of the planets and their lives and all that. It's really a wonder of all wonders, and therefore all I can say is it is a Vaibhavam. This is a Vibhuti of the Lord Himself. So he looks at the world and say it is Ishvara Vibhuti also. Ambhorasi visirna varshika silabhavam bhajan manaha. So what is the mind is doing? Mind is as though dissolving into this ocean, as though like a big the hailstorm. That means the ice that has fallen from this one, when it falls into the ocean, it slowly starts melting. In the same way, the crystallized ice or crystallized mind is getting dissolved into the ocean of that, the beauty of the whole creation itself. So mind essentially overwhelmed by the vibhuti of the Lord. Yasyamsham salave vilina madhunanandamatmana nirvrutam. Yasya amsa salave, that is the stone or the ice stone that is getting melted. Vilina madhuna. Vilinam adhuna anandatmana nirvrutam. So this is essentially the merging of the ice into the ocean, and it becomes one with it, and it is inseparable. When the ice melts and melts into the ocean itself, it becomes inseparable. So in the Yajnavalkya, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yajnavalkya teaches the Maitreyi and talks about Videha Mukti is same as a salt crystal as though dissolving into the ocean, and what happened to the salt? It pervades the whole ocean now. It becomes a part of the ocean, and there cannot be any separation of this salt versus the original salt. In the same way, the water is giving another example that ice. The ice stone has become merging, and in the same way my mind is becoming merging into the Brahman, and that is Bhajan Manaha in the reverential attitude also, and that's what the student says. Here it's the Shankara interprets here, says Bhavadvaitam sada karyam kriyadvaitam nakutrachit advaitam trishu lokeshu nadvaitam guruna saha. So Advaita has to be understood. Say you are Advaita, everything is one Brahman and there should not be any separate. That is wrong understanding here. It says Bhava Advaitam Sadakaryam. The Bhavam it should be there. In the means it's an intellectual or cognitive understanding of oneness, just as a scientist understands that everything is nothing but electrons, protons, neutrons, but still in the transactional level there is the garbage is garbage and the food is food. So Bhava Advaitam Sadakaryam. So in all activities, internally, cognitively, one has to understand the Advaita. Means one has to have that understanding. While Kriya Advaitam Natukrutajit. While transacting, you should not have Advaitam. You should not have oneness. Your bank is your bank account, other people's have bank account, the food is food, the table is table. There is no confusion there, and should not be confusion, because there the Advaitam in the activities at the transaction level, there cannot be any activities at that level. Advaitam Trishulokeshu. So one can have Advaita on all fields itself, in all the three lokas itself. Advaitam Trishulokeshu Nadvaitam Guruna Saha. But in front of the teacher, there cannot be Advaitam, because the teacher is teacher and the student is student. So Bhava Advaitam Sada Karyam Kriya Advaitam Natukrutajit Advaitam Trishulokeshu Nadvaitam Guruna Saha. So there cannot be Advaita in front of the teacher. Teacher is a teacher, and the reverential attitude should be there at the teacher. So Bhava Advaitam Sadakaryam Kriya Advaitam Natukrutajit Advaitam Trishulokeshu Nadvaitam Guruna Saha. And the student prostrate to that and says to the teacher, say Namo Namoste Gurave Mahatmane Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya Nityadvayananda Rasaswarupini Bhumni Sadapara Dayambudamni. So Namo Namostite. Say this is essentially, it talks about the student prostrate to the teacher with a reverential attitude, both the gratitude as well as the respect for the teacher comes. Says Namo Namoste Gurave Mahatmane. Hey Mahatma, because of your compassion only you could teach this, because this Namo Namo, say prostrations again and again and again, because this is a way he cannot but express that gratitude, because this is the highest teaching and the very fulfillment of the life itself because of the teaching. So Namo Namoste Gurave Mahatmane Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya. So by the one who has he described the teacher, he says Nityanandas Rasaswarupini. You are the embodiment of eternal happiness itself, because you have realized that you are Aham Brahmasmi. That means you are Satchidananda Swarupam. So Nitya Anandam, Nityam, which is same as Satyam, and Anandarasam, so the expression of overflowing happiness, and you are of Sad Uttamaya, the great person. And Bhumni Bhumni Sada Paradayambudamni. So Bhumni, so all pervading, Sada always, and the Aparadayambudi, unlimited, compassionate, because the teacher doesn't have to teach, because he is already reveling in himself by himself, and there is nothing he can gain by teaching at all, because he is already understood that Aham Brahmasmi. Then what is the purpose of that? He still teaches because he himself learned from his teacher, and therefore it's out of compassion for the student he has to come down and teach to that. Therefore the student now recognizes that you are in fact Vimukta Sangaya Saduttamaya. You have no attachments and no that I had to teach and I'm going to gain out of it. No pleasure in this one. Yet you are coming out because of my sake. You came down and taught me. Therefore, Namo Namoste Gurave Mahatmane. So prostrations again and again and again. So the student expresses overwhelming gratitude to the teacher. So essentially, a student, once you realize, he cannot but be gratitude, because this is the highest, the teaching, and that too the teaching that eliminates all samsara itself, and there will not be punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, jatare sayanam, yah samsare bahudustare, krupaya pare pahi murare. There is no more birth and rebirth again. I have reached a state of essentially Jivan Muktaha, and the whole life itself is fulfilled, and the whole the generations and generations that I have been living through with that ajnanam is completely gone. Therefore he cannot but express his gratitude to the teacher. So therefore this is the Namo Namoste Gurave Mahatmane. Then he says, Dhanyoham Krutakrityoham Vimuktoham Bhavagrahat Nityananda Swarupoham Purnoham Tadanugrahat. So Dhanyoham Krutakrityoham, I am fulfilled, I am blessed indeed. Krutakrityaha, I have fulfilled my life purpose itself. Not only this life, life before, and many millions of life I have been struggling through with this samsara. So once I have recognized that I am not the body, mind, intellect, I am that because of the body, mind, intellect, as well as even the Jiva, Jagat, the Ishvara, everything is being illuminated. I am that Satchidananda Swarupam that pervades the whole universe itself, yet untouched by it, and therefore I am Dhanyoham, I am blessed indeed because of your grace. Krutakrityoham, I accomplish what need to be done, and there is nothing more for me to do, because the whole purpose of doing is only to gain this one, and I have got that one. Vimuktoham, I am completely liberated from the shackles of my ajnana, because of my ignorance only. I am taking what I am not as I am. Now I know who I am. Therefore, for me there is no reason for me to again take it as this body is me, this mind is me, or this intellect is me. And Bhavagrahat, because of your blessing it indeed. Nityananda Swarupoham. So Nitya Ananda Swarupam, I am the eternal Satchidananda Swarupam, is my true nature itself. I am not going to gain happiness, because I am the very source of happiness that I have recognized. Purnoham, that means I am limitless and Purnam, complete, and Tadanugrahat, because of your blessings, because of you, out of compassion you taught me. Therefore he prostrated to the teacher. We go to the sloka 491. Asangoham anangoham alingoham abhanguraha. Asangoham anangoham alingoham abhanguraha. Prasantoham anantoham adantoham chirantanaha. Prashantoham anantoham adantoham toha chirantanaha. So, Asangaha. Asanga means unattached I am. I am not attached either the body by Asangoham, Punah Punaha. Sachidananda Rupoham, Ahamevaham Avyeha. So, I am unattached to anything at all, to the world itself. Anangoham, I am not having Angam. Angam means the components itself. I am completely homogeneous eternal entity. Alingoham. Alingam means no more the jati, ashramadi, lingarahitam. No more the identification with any of this. Also lingam means the emotional attachments as well as the antahkaranam. So alingoham, abhanguraha. Abhangura means indestructible or non-destructible means I remain avyayam. So asangoham, anangoham, alingoham, abhanguraha. Prashantoham. So prashant, shantam, shivam, advaitam, chaturtam, manyante sa atma savigneha. I am peaceful, serene, in spite of the perturbation. Dukkeshu anudvignamaha, sukeshu vigataspruha, vitaraga bhayakrodaha, stitadhir muniruchyate. So he is prashantam and anantoham, that which is infinite. Therefore it is prashantam. Infinite cannot be perturbed. And atantoham. Atantoham means atantam is I am tireless and entity. That means there is no expression of, because it is tiring is only for those who get exhaust energy, because I am infinite energy. Therefore there is no tiredness at all. Chirantanaha. So essentially Chirantanaha, there is no beginning and end. Therefore beginningless, endless, infiniteness that I am. And therefore few more slokas that Shishya is going to do, and we will do that in the next talk. We will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.